in target A and B, we learn about theorems about lines and angles, which we learned in target 6D. So it was kind of a review, right? Okay, now we're going to move into triangles, okay? And the one thing that I told you guys was that triangles, I told you a really good rule about triangles that you should always remember, okay? So I'm just going to give it to you again, okay? So any triangle, okay, so this is note. All angles in a triangle should always equal 180. Okay, that's always, okay? Any triangle, all the angles have to equal 180. So that's what we're going to figure out to solve for triangles, okay? So the objective for target 7C is to prove and apply theorems about triangles, okay? So we're doing proofs again, but now we're doing with theorems about triangles. All right, so number one, it says find x, okay? X is right here. This is what I need to figure out. How much is that going to be? All right, I told you start practicing what 180 looks like. Remember I told you? Okay, so if you notice that y, if I connect y with x, it makes this half circle shape. Remember, half circle shape, the top right here? Okay, this equals 180. So I know y and x is going to equal 180. So I need to figure out how much is y. And I could do that y by using my theorem about triangles, that I know that all angles in a triangle have to equal 180. So I have 40 plus 33 plus y equals 180. That's for the triangle. Okay, I'm solving for the triangle right now. All right, so 40 plus 33 gives me, let's see, 373. All right, and I need to solve for y, so I need to subtract it from 180. Okay, subtract from both sides. So then y equals 107. Okay, so this is not a question mark anymore. This is 107. And remember, I had to figure out x. Well, now that I know y is 107, I know I could figure out x by subtracting from 180 because x and y make 180. So 180 minus 107, x equals 73. So it's not a question mark anymore. My x equals 73. All right, once again, why did I subtract from 180? Because y with x makes 180. I already know y. This is y, right? I know the the angle is 180. So x has to be 73 because y and x equals 180. Do you guys see that? All right, I'm going to erase this. So my answer was 73. All right, let's try B. Okay, we still need to solve for x. However, x is now inside the triangle. Okay, and we know that all those angles in a triangle have to equal 180. That means I have to add all the angles. Do I know why? I do not know why, but that means I have to work backwards. Why? Because I know y with 95 have to equal 180. So if it has to equal 180, I have to do 180 minus 95 to get y. So y is going to give me 85. So now this is 85. All right, now that I know that I want this 85, I could add all my angles in the triangle. So it's going to be 42 plus 85 plus x equals 180. Okay, 42 plus 85, we got 7. 127 plus x equals 180. To solve for x, I need to subtract 127 from both sides. So x is gonna give me 53. That's my answer. This is 53. All right. So it always works backwards. Okay. So you know how much is one straight line? 180. And you know that in a triangle it has to equal 180. So you can always figure it out either going backwards or forward, however you have to do it. You should know how to do it because we know the theorems of a triangle. All right. Next, it says, what is the value of y? Okay, so we need to figure out y. Again, the same thing how we did it on top is what we're doing on the bottom. However, notice that these triangles have these tick marks again on the side, and that means that those are called isosceles triangles. And if you don't remember, isosceles triangles have two angles that are the same, two sides that are the same. So they're the same, they're the same. All right. So once I figure out one of the angles, I figure out the next one. Okay. So for instance, in this one, the first step I need to do to solve for y. Okay, so y is over here. I need to solve for this one. I need to figure out how much is going to be x and how much is going to be y. I mean, sorry, x and z. All right. Well, again, once again, x with 110 form 180. So it forms 180. I have to subtract from 180. So 180 minus 110 gives me 70. That means that 70 equals x. And again, it has an isosceles triangle, so that means that the other angle has to be 70. Once I know those two angles, I can figure out y. Why? Because I know that all those three angles added together equals 180. So 70 plus y equals 180 because that's the rule of a triangle. So 70 plus y equals 180. Alright, so you're going to add like terms. We've been doing this, nothing new. So it's 140 plus y equals 180. Then you subtract from both sides and y is going to give you 40. This is my answer. Y is 40. Alright, can you guys try the next one? And again, I'll be checking your answers in class for that one. Alright, just like we learned some theorems about the triangles, there's more to triangles, okay? So we know that all angles in a triangle equal 180. We know isosceles triangles have two equal sides and two equal angles. Alright, and to prove triangles, we're going to learn a new vocabulary. Alright, it's called side, 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 or angle, side, angle. Okay, so here we go. Side. SSS stands for side, side, side. Okay, this is why it's SSS because it's side, side angle. What does that mean? That means that two triangles, okay, are going to be the same if they have the same side 3 times because this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. 3 sides have to be equal. That's why it's called side, side, side. That means that this side has to be the same as this one has to be the same as this one, and this one has to be the same as this one. Those are side, side, okay? Side, angle, side. Let me do a different color. It's called side, angle, side. And again, it's called SAS because it's side, angle, side. Okay? That means that two triangles are the same, okay, if they have one side equal to the other side, one angle, and one side. So two sides and one angle. And usually they're going to give you all this information. So you should right away identify the triangles based on what they gave you, okay? So for instance, if I have side and they told you that that side has to be the same as this side, and they told you that this angle has to be the same as this one, and then this second side has to be the same as the second side. See how it goes from side 1, angle, and then side? That's why it's called side, angle, side. Alright, one thing that we have to keep in mind for this is that you cannot have the side and angles be separate from each other. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to draw two separate triangles. Alright, so what if they gave you that this side is the same as this side, and then they gave you this angle is the same as this one, but they told you that this side has to be the same as this one. Alright, notice how it's side, angle, side. Still the same thing, right? Side, angle, side. However, it needs to follow the order, okay? Notice how they skipped this side right here. Oops. I don't know what's going on. Alright, so they skipped this side and they went to this other side already. They skipped this one, okay? Or they skipped this angle right here. It has to go in order, okay? And what do I mean? Look at the top triangle. It goes from side, angle, side. Okay, so that means they have to go side, angle, side, but it didn't. It went side, angle, skip, side. Then this would not be congruent. They have to follow along. It has to go in order, okay? Same thing with angle, side, angle, okay? It's called angle. What's going on here? There you go. All right, so it's called angles, side, angle. Again, ASA, right? It's the same thing. Two triangles are the same if the angle, side angle follows along. Again, it has to follow along, okay? So if they told you that this angle has to be the same as this one, and then this side is the same as this side, and then the second angle is the same as the other second angle, then those are called angle side angles. Again, it's the same thing. You cannot tell me that two triangles are congruent if it doesn't follow along. For instance, if I have angle, side, and angle, this is going to be wrong because they skip this angle right here or they skip this side. It has to follow along, okay? So make sure we pay attention to this. They're gonna get tricky, okay? So let's try number 3, sorry. We have to determine what theorem can you use to prove that triangles are congruent. So one of these theorems, right? The ones that we learned, SSS, SAS, or ASA, okay? Look at all the information they gave you, okay? And this is gonna have theorems that we already learned, okay? Remember the reflexive property, reflexive when A equals A, okay? It's the same property we're gonna use for this, okay? You already know this, so you should already identify what I'm talking about. So for instance, right now, I have angle. Angle 1 is the same thing as angle 1. Angle 3, because I have 3 dash, is equal to the other 3. And then this angle, my second angle, it's equal to the other second angle. However, you don't have a proof that says angle, angle, angle. So you need to figure out what is the side, because we're talking about side angle. Okay, that's the only two things that we're talking about. So I need a side. So far, it didn't tell me any information with my sides. However, I know the reflexive property says that the line in the middle is cutting my big square in half, right? And it's giving me two triangles, okay? So that line in the middle is the same for both triangles. For instance, this is what I'm drawing. I have this triangle and I have this one, okay? That's what's happening. You have two triangles. This one is the one they share. That's why we have a big square. All right, so because they share that line and I know it's called reflexive property, I know that ST is congruent to TS. And because it reflects a property, that means that this is the same. That line is the same. So now I could do my theorems. I have angle, angle, side, angle, angle. So I have angle, side, angle. So my answer for this one should be ASA. All right, so try B for me. Notice they give you that little dashes on the side. So that means that this side is congruent to this side. This little angle is congruent to this one. And you're missing one piece of information. What can you tell me about that big square? Okay, so I can see which of the theorems I'm going to use. Okay, so remember side, 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 saying angle, side, angle, side, angle. So figure out B. Alright, once you try B, you should have noticed that AC, the line AC is the same thing as CA. So that means that it's called reflexive property. That means that this is the other side that's congruent. This is the second side. So this one should have been side, angle, side. That should have been your answer. Okay, C, letter C. Alright, this one. This one's kind of tricky. They had two answers, okay? So it has a side. They told you that this side is the same thing. They have this angle. okay? And you know that MZ is the same thing as ZM, okay? So this is the same line. So we have a second line. So this could have been side, angle, side. All right. And this could have also could have been SSS. Why? Because you see these two triangles are on top of each other. Okay, let me draw it over here so you guys can see how they're drawn each other. Okay, and you start noticing that this line on the bottom, they have the same. So then this side has to be the third side they have in common. This is the second side, which we already proved. They gave you those, so that's why it's called side, side, side. All right, so that one was kind of tricky. All right, now we come to the fun part of the notes, okay, or statements and reasons. We know how to do this. So statement and reason. All right, your first one I told you that was going to be the given. So given, and what's my given? I told you that I was going to give it to you. It's right here. This is the given and this is the proof. So that means that AD is congruent to CD and AB is the same thing as BC.
Did that one guy come in this morning and take his from his E from the first semester? He told me.
Mm-mm. All right, and then I told you always that every time they give you a statement, you should draw on your picture because that's the whole purpose of it. Okay, the first one, they told you AD is congruent to CD. So AD, this line, is the same thing as CD. That's the first line. Second, AB is the same thing as BC. So AB, this is the second line, is congruent to BC. And notice how I put two dashes because I'm talking about second line, okay? All right. Well, we need to prove that triangle, and this is what the little symbols mean. Triangle ABD is the same thing as triangle CBD. All right. And this one's always going to have two statements. Three statements. Three reasons. What is something else? Based on the information they gave you, they're talking about sides, right? All right. They didn't give you any of the angles. So that should be a key that you're looking for another side because we only have side. Remember, side, 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 angle, side, angle, or side, angle, side. Automatically, when they don't give you any angles, we're not using this one and we're not using this one. It should be an automatically answer. So you should know that you're going to be talking about side, side, side. That means I need another side. Okay, and remember reflexive property. We know that this big triangle, okay, is being cut in half. That line in the middle, it's called reflexive property. All right, or it's also called bisecting line. Okay, why? Because it's bisecting. It's going over the big triangle and cutting in half. It's bisecting my picture in half. Okay, that's what it's called bisecting. I'm usually going to be talking about reflexive property, but it's the same thing. All right, so my statement is going to be that AMDB is congruent to BD, reflexive property. Okay, that means that this is the third line. And I told you number 3 is going to be the proof. So the proof is triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD. And how do I know that? Because of side, side, side. That is pretty much all we're doing for this. 3 statements, 3 reasons, draw on your pictures, and use the information they give you. If they didn't give you any information with angles, then you're not talking about any angles. You're not talking about the two theorems that have angles. So try number 3. All right, number 3. Once you are done with number 3, make sure to check your answers with me the next day. Okay, I should be giving you the answers the next day. So just check with me. If you want credit, if you want to check your answer, make sure you check with me. All right, this should give us C notes for day 2. Okay, so obviously midpoint, we talked about this a little bit in target B. Remember when they gave us a line and they told you that midpoint E, right? So the midpoint is the point in the middle. And, okay, and bisecting line, remember I said bisect right here. I said bisecting. It's because the bisect is the line that cuts in half. Okay, so for instance, if I had a big triangle here, this bisecting line in the middle, that is bisect. Okay, I'm bisecting. I'm cutting my big triangle in half, so now I have 2 small triangles. All right, and then the midline theorem is just telling me that the midline is the same thing as the bottom line. Okay, it's because it's a middle line, it's cut in half, right? So the midline is going to be half. That's what the midline theorem talks about. Midline is going to be half. Okay. All right. So number 7, it says using the diagram below, determine the distance across the lake AB. Also, justify which is the shortest distance. Okay, this one has 3 questions. Which one is, you have to find the distance across the lake, and then tell me which one is shorter, A to B or B to C. So 2 questions, okay? People, you just answer one, and this is how they lose points. All right? So the distance across the lake, so AB, so this is the distance. How much is that? Well, this is the midline theorem, okay? Again, we have a big triangle, right? And then we have this line in the middle. And it cuts my 2 triangles into 2 small ones. I have this one, and now I have this big one. It makes a smaller version of the big one. So I have this big one, obviously in pink, and then I have this little small one I created with my midline. That midline I told you is going to be half. So if the bottom is 15, that means that my midline is going to be half of it. So obviously all you have to do is 15 divided by 2, which is half. That means that AB has to equal 7.5. All right, I found AB, and the second question was, which one is shorter, AB or BC? So which one? The one in pink or the one in green? Okay, the one in green, we don't know the distance. You know the whole distance, okay, of the big triangle is 10, and remember it's half, midline is half, so that means that it's going to cut in half. So CB is going to be 5. So then which one is the shortest? You're going to know that CB is short. Oops. So I need to see all these 3. The AB, the CD, and which one is the shortest. 3 questions. So try B. And again, you want credit for this. You want to check your answers and make sure you do, because you don't want to be doing the things wrong. Come see me and show me your notes. All right, find the value of x. This one's easy. Okay, again, this one's like the one problem that we were doing in 60, I think. Yep. When one side, remember those shapes? It was some weird shapes. It was like a house shape. When this side was congruent to the other house shape, so this side had to be the same thing as this side. And we had to solve for x. All right, it's the same thing we're doing. You need to figure out where's x. Well, x is this one. Because we have this bisecting line cutting in half, I know that this has to be the same thing. So all I have to do is 3x equals 24 divided by 3 to get x. Alright, so then 24 divided by 3 should give me 8, so x equals 8. That's pretty much it. Easy peasy. Okay, so try 5 and then show me your answers again. If you want credit, show me your answers, check your work. It's very important for you to check your work because I don't want you doing the wrong things, the wrong steps. All right. So you got 3 problems to check with me, and hopefully the video helped. And if you still don't understand it, please make sure to come see me. I know the theorems with triangles, especially side, 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 side angle can get confusing. So please, please come study and come see me in the mornings. All right. Hopefully this helped, and I'll see you guys in class.